Right, everyone, welcome to the F1 Fan Zone. And what a race? Could you call it that? What I can tell you, it was an absolute stonking, total, total, total domination from Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Completely blew away everyone else. Completely blew away everyone else. The only thing I can say with Ferrari is they obviously went with the wrong setup. Do I think Red Bull are that much quicker than Ferrari? No, they're not. It's simply a case of Ferrari made. We know they've made strategic errors throughout the season, mostly in race, strategic errors. However, today, just as I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, Ferrari, they made a bad call. They went there with a downforce package that was too high. They needed a lower downforce package and so on, and they got that wrong. And they've been making these mistakes all year. But I thought at least throughout the race itself, sitting there thinking, well, at least throughout the race, they've actually not really done anything wrong in that respect, or not done anything differently that you would expect them to do. Until the last couple of laps when they decided to pit Charles Leclerc, which caused him to need to rush to get in front of Alonso. He came out behind Alonso, had to get past him, tried to get the fastest lap. Not only did he not get the fastest lap because it was held up by Alonso, but then in order to try and get out in front of Alonso meant he had to speed in the pit lane, thereby occurring a 5-second penalty, and then for finishing behind Alonso. All was avoidable. Quite simply, don't pit him. The gap wasn't there. The simple fact is the gap for Leclerc wasn't there to make that pit. Why on earth did Ferrari make that decision? And no, like I said, I'm thinking to myself all weekends, thinking all race, they haven't made a major mistake here. You know, they've come up with the wrong package. There's no doubt they've come with the wrong package, but they've not made an in-race mistake. But no, even with a couple of laps to go, there's always still time for just to find a way to piss everyone off and make a stupid strategic error. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But in the race itself, Max Verstappen, absolutely total domination. Let's bring up the actual classified, the results, so to speak. Let's have a look. If I can bring it up here. And there we go. Here we are. Right, and this is the actual classified results. Verstappen there, followed by Perez, followed by Sainz. Sainz getting third, just about squeezing in front of Russell. I mean, does that not say at all? That Sainz, the Mercedes have been slow all weekend, and Sainz hung on to third place. Sainz, the Ferrari should be closing down those Red Bulls, and instead they're hanging on to stay ahead of a poor Mercedes. What on earth did Ferrari do over the summer? Now, just so we get some clarity on this, right? Because a lot of people, prior to the race, prior to the summer break, Ferrari had the quicker car, but were making a series of catastrophic in-race decisions, which were costing them points and race wins. We know that. The summer, the 4 weeks, a lot of people are looking and thinking, what have Red Bull done over the 4 weeks? Have they been working on the car? Well, just for clarification, the answer to that is no. And the reason why it's quite strict with the summer, when you get the summer shut down, it doesn't mean that just all the drivers and the teams to go on holiday, but in fact, everything shuts down. That includes the drivers going on holiday, that then take some time off. All the people who go to the race, the mechanics and the engineers, and all the people involved on the actual race day itself, and back at headquarters, the factories and so on, and all the labs and where they do all the research and development and making of parts and so on, it all shuts down. So there is literally nothing going on in Formula One for those 4 weeks. Nothing at all. What is different here and why Red Bull is so ahead of everyone else are two key reasons. or so let's say, well, they've always been ahead of everyone else, but why they were so far ahead of Ferrari is a couple of key reasons. Firstly, Ferrari cocked up their race car prior to going. So when you look at a track, you don't go to a race with the same setup every race. You can adjust the characteristics of a car. So you can opt for a larger or wider rear wing. You can opt for a more narrow one. You get a thickness, how up and down, how thick or how the depth of a rear wing and so on. All these different things that you can do. The front wing, the amount of front wing you give someone. If it's a track where there's more right turns and left turns, you might have a bit more front right wing, might a bit more left wing. All these different characteristics of a race setup can really alter a car. Now you get different levels of downforce packages, as they call them. Now, for example, if you're going to a track where you need a lot of downforce, where there's a lot of medium and lower speed corners, where you want the downforce so you can carry enough speed through those corners and so on, you opt for a higher downforce package. You'll opt for a larger rear wing, for example, and so on. What happens this race weekend is quite simple. Ferrari decided to have a higher downforce package and therefore a larger rear wing as a result, as part of a wider package, which gives the car more downforce, but it also creates more drag. The larger the rear wing, the more surface area there is for the air. So the car drives through, the car drives along, the more surface area there is for the air to essentially bounce off the rear wing of the car, therefore slowing it down. Red Bull went for a lower downforce package. They decided to have a slightly smaller, slightly more narrower rear wing, amongst other things, and therefore it wouldn't be as much downforce, but there wouldn't be as much drag, and there'll be a lot more quicker on a straight line speed. Now, that is the sort of package that Red Bull took today, and it was obviously a much better package than what Ferrari did. And so it isn't as though the Red Bull car is suddenly completely different compared to the Ferrari car. It's just the packages they were different. Ferrari opted for the higher downforce package. Red Bull went for the lower downforce package. And it's that decision that Ferrari made that really cost them this weekend, because they were the high. I just don't quite get who's making the decisions at Ferrari. We talked about this before the summer break, and unfortunately, here we are again talking about decisions made again. Who's making the decisions? Any idiot can tell you that Spa is one of the quickest circuits on the calendar. It is one of the places where you want a lower downforce package. So what did Ferrari think would happen if they took a higher downforce package? Of course they got drag. Of course they got more drag. Of course they were slower as a result of it. They took the wrong package. I don't know what I'm missing until Ferrari start. Some will argue, and I'd like to know what everyone's thoughts are on this, but some would argue that Ferrari should have sacked the team principal. There were reports about whether he was going to go during that summer lockdown or summer shutdown, and he didn't. And at first I was thinking he should go, but I thought it's not like football. You can't just really change midway through seasons. Okay, when I say you can, or when I say you can't, you can, but it's not ideal. Of course, they've left him in charge, and the very next race, they make mistakes. They took the wrong package, and then just as I'm thinking, oh, you know what? At least they've had a trouble-free race. They might have been a lot slower, but they haven't made any bad decisions on the track. And then with 2-3 laps to go, they completely annihilated that by bringing in Leclerc and sending him out so he comes out behind Alonso. In fact, he had to speed in the pit lane just to get out in front of him. And in the end, they get the 5-second penalty. They don't get the fastest lap, and they lose track position. and thereby a couple of extra points. You couldn't make it up. What are you doing, Ferrari? What are you bloody doing? What idiot has sat there and calculated and said, oh, well, if a pit stop's 23 seconds and he's 23 seconds in front of Alonso, well, that should be cleared then. We should be able to get in front of him. What am I missing? What are you doing, Ferrari? What am I missing here? Utterly appalling. Now, with that being said, the Red Bull took comfortably the best package, without a doubt. I don't think we can dispute that. The reason why Verstappen was so much quicker than everyone else is for simply the fact, apart from the fact that he's obviously one of the best drivers out there, is that he has got a brand new power supply, a brand new CPU in comparison to Perez, Sainz, and Russell, the other top sort of drivers, if you like, in there, who didn't take brand new power units. So, and on a circuit that is one of the most power hungry on the calendar, that's going to make a difference. The other thing that you have to consider as well. Now, let's say, because it's one of the longest tracks, it's over 4 miles, so it's one of the longest tracks on the calendar. And if you are, say, a tenth quicker over a mile on average, let's say a tenth quicker over a mile, then over a shorter track, let's say shorter, let's say it's a couple of miles long, 2.5 miles, you're 2.5 cents quicker, you're 2 tenths quicker over the course of a lap. But on a lap that's 4 kilometers or 4 miles, as it is in Spa, then that tenth per mile becomes 4 tenths in a single lap, and therefore that gap looks bigger. It's no bigger than what it is in other tracks. It's just over the course of a longer lap, it's going to, if that makes sense, it's going to be a longer, or if you're a tenth quicker per mile over 4 miles, you're 4 tenths quicker. On a 2 mile circuit, you're 2 tenths quicker. It's just simply the length of the circuit which accelerates or exaggerates that gap. Now, it's all gone quiet. That's because we know there's no wrong thing there. Thank you much. So yeah, nothing's. They've finished on that there. So as I said, it was a very, very easy race. Look at that for Red Bull. We've got some double headers coming up now. In fact, I think we've got a triple header. We'll have to see how that plays out, but I'm not convinced that Ferrari have the car. Let's not jump around the bush. They haven't suddenly got a slow car. They've just gone with the wrong package today. Could that next week they could go the right package and Red Bull go the small package? They could. I doubt they will, but they could. But the reason why I doubt Red Bull will is because they make the decisions very well. Ferrari can't make any decisions. They can't even think for themselves. They've not asked the drivers. Say, what is it, Leclerc or Sainz? One of the two. What do you think, Sainz? Do you think you should stay out there a bit longer? As if Sainz has all the data. You have a bloody team of people doing the maths on this, and you should know. You should be saying, Sainz, we are pitting you on this lap, and every question that you say, we've got the maths, you haven't, in you come. But they're asking the drivers, what do you think? Oh, I don't know. You tell me. Tell me a breakdown of all the maths and all the timing, sector by sector, for every driver that I'm competing out there, and I can make an informed decision. What am I missing, Ferrari? What the bloody hell are you playing at? Again, we're just into this stupid reality of Ferrari thinking that I mean, I can't even explain it. It's that bad. I really can't explain it. And of course, then we had the first lap incident with Hamilton and Alonso. I put it down as a racing incident. I thought that was fair. I didn't think there was anything really that you could do from that. Hamilton was squeezing. Alonso didn't really have anywhere to go. And in the first lap, that it more likely than not, or more often than not, it's going to be down, particularly in the first lap, as a racing incident. That's what it was. If anything, you could argue that it was more Hamilton's fault than Alonso, of course. However, Alonso went on to complete the race and actually done all right in the race. Didn't affect him at all. Hamilton crashed out. Is there any need to apply penalties anyway, even if Hamilton was at fault? Not really. How? Oh, let's add 5 seconds onto your non-completed race. So, it was never going to be any. It was never going to result in anything. George Russell finishing off strongly, by the way. in that Mercedes. I don't necessarily think that's because the Mercedes were quick. I just think Ferrari were that slow, that their package was that bad. Not only was their package bad in that it was given much less straight line speed in a race where you need straight line speed, might I add. It was also causing a lot of issues with their tyres. That downforce, that extra downforce meant that they were just overheating your tyres because it was a lot warmer the day as well. Don't forget, over the last couple of days there, Saturday, Friday, we had rain. Saturday, we didn't have so much in the way of rain, but we had a lot of mist. It was a lot cooler. They having to wear jackets, for example, on the pit wall because the conditions didn't really suit for it. And then obviously, then we had a much warmer day on Sunday. In fact, Sunday was arguably, no, it absolutely was the best day in terms of weather and that warmer weather. And again, it's just cock up after cock up by Ferrari. Just cock up after cock up after cock up. When will it stop? And ultimately, and there will be, by the way, I said this on yesterday's stream, there will be more penalties between now and the end of the season. We're only 14 races in. We've still got quite a few more to go. In fact, let's have a look at the schedule. If I bring up my thing here, let's go back to should be able to come out of live timings. And let's just have a look at the schedule coming up. Now we've got some double headers as well, by the way. So exit. So let's have a look at the schedule. Well, we round 14, round 10, 11, 12, 14, 13, that's Hungary. And then we had 14. So we are at the Netherlands. Max Verstappen's home race, of course, next week. And then we're on Italy. And then that's it for Europe. And then we're off to Singapore, Japan, United States, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. So we've still got, 8 races to go. Those who just changed their power units this weekend, that'd be the likes of Verstappen, Leclerc, etc., are not going to use those power units for another 8 races. They are going to have to use more power units. There are going to be more penalties occurred, 100%. But not that it's going to make any difference now in this title race because it is a foregone now. There's I can't see even Ferrari. Just give you an idea of how bad Ferrari have been this year, and I can't really put it into words too much. Ferrari have had the quickest car for large parts of the season. And the fact that they are where they are, the fact that they are so far behind Red Bull in terms of the constructors, the fact that they're so far behind Verstappen and the drivers, it's purely down to the fact that Red Bull haven't been amazing. They've just been consistent. They've just gotten and done a job, and on a week in, week out basis, they haven't tried to be the quick side. Just tried to be reliable, be quick, but be reliable, get the job done. Don't make any silly mistakes. And that's all they've needed to do. That is literally all. And that's all they need to do between now and the end of the season, by the way. Complete control. Complete control. What I think you might find now with the likes of Mercedes, probably McLaren as well, you might find now now we're into the we've got the last sort of 3 races, or last couple of races, in Europe, in the Netherlands and Italy, before our next flyaway to Singapore. You might find that there's going to be very little in the way of upgrades. You may have some upgrades by Italy when it's still in Europe. Very simple reason: it's in an environment which is managed by cost capping. It's cheaper to have parts delivered in Europe than it is to ship them all out to Singapore and Japan and so on and so forth. So we may have some more minor upgrades between now and Italy. We might even have some by the United States as well, because obviously we have to go from Japan and then fly all the way back across over Europe on its way back, the traveling circuits of the Formula One world, to the United States and then Mexico and then Brazil before flying back to Abu Dhabi. So we may see some upgrades by Italy, but I think after Italy, I think most cars or most people they'll be focusing, I think, I suspect, more on next year's car. Once you get to that, once you get the last few races, even Ferrari may throw in the towel, so we're going to win it this year. let's make sure we've got a car that's better than Red Bull next year. Mercedes have probably started doing that quite a while ago, I suspect. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. It should be interesting, though. It will be interesting. And right, so that's it for me today. Anyway, I thought I'd just quickly pop on and have a look and see what's going on. And as I said, let's just bring up the calendar for next year again. Or not next year, but the next year. Fucking hell, I'm getting well ahead of myself. Netherlands, Italy, Singapore, Japan, United States, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. I can't see anything other than Red Bull winning the majority of these races. I'll be honest. I think Ferrari will hope to win in Italy, their home race, Monza. And then after that, I think cars start thinking about next year's car for these flyaway races. Will be more. They won't spend money on upgrades for this season's car, not with a few races to go. The one thing we will have power unit changes between now and then. 8 races is a long time to go. We've still got those who didn't change power units this weekend, part of the way, and there's still obviously quite a few who will also need to change. So there's going to be many penalties to many teams, to many drivers between now and the end of the season. So we could have more mixed grids. So we'll see how that one plays out. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you all again on the next one. The next race is the Netherlands. That is next weekend. I shall try and pop on during the week to do a stream if possible. Time permitting, work and all that. But either way, I hope you all have a great rest of the weekend. For those in the UK, it's bank holiday weekend. For those in the US, and a lot of my viewers are in the US, and it's quite good actually. But anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed the race weekend. And until next weekend, take care, and I'll see you all again soon.